Hey everyone, I would love to know what books you are currently reading. So, the reason why I asked is today I started reading Psychology of Selling. I was on a call yesterday and a gentleman recommended two books. I can't remember the other book, but it's a Brian Tracy book, and I've read one of his books before, actually, audiobook. And it's actually a really good read. I think that the book is a good read for people who are just starting out in sales and people who have been around sales and marketing for a minute. I think it's a really good book because so far I'm only on chapter two and I've gotten a lot out of it. So the reason why I'm reading the book is I am interested in sales and marketing for many different reasons. So one good reason is I was on my walk today with a friend. Like we meet not every day, but we meet on Wednesdays and Thursdays and we go for walks. Today, the conversation centered around, actually, I had three different conversations with the same lady, and it all kind of tied into sales and marketing. So, the first conversation we had was her husband owns a BMW, and she was saying that BMW, when you're buying a BMW, they want you to go down and actually pick it up in person, and they take you for a ride, and they show you like all the perks and bells and whistles of a BMW. Basically, they basically tell you how good the product is. They give you a ride. And it's just supposed to be like this whole experience, right? I mean, the experience is such a good experience that her husband runs one of the BMW clubs, and it's just a huge part of his life. And all I could think about was sales and marketing, right? That's an awesome way to build loyalty for your product and for your business. The second thing we talked about was the Saratoga house show. I think house tours. Upstate New York does this every fall. Saratoga Homes, they're a builder and they're supposed to be like top notch. She said they do these walkthroughs and these shows like every single year. People come out, they judge the homes, and a bunch of realtors at the end picks the winner. All I could think about was sales and marketing. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. That's amazing of how how they set that up. Like, imagine just going to one of those shows and seeing the construction, the build, the cabinets, seeing all that stuff, knowing like, dag, this is something that I can actually have myself. It actually sets it apart. So if you are in a market for building and you're looking for those cabinets and you look for, it's a great way for sales and marketing. It's a great way to market your product. The third thing we talked about was the Bay Bridge 10K. So if you live in this area, you know that there's the Bay Bridge 10K. Everyone talks about this race and how every 5 years they change the medal. So basically, you get one medal, and every single year you get additional medals. These medals at the end of the 5 years, they all connect to each other. Somehow, either it's round, straight, however, they all kind of connect to each other like a puzzle. And so what she was saying was basically like, hey, if we do this race, you basically got to do it for the next 5 years. But all I could think about was sales and marketing. I'm like, that's an awesome way to market your product. And so now, of course, I put all that in my phone. And the goal is when I have time to do some research is just to dive a little bit into how do they market that and how did they set that up so that because if you start the race the year one, the likelihood of you finishing it for the next 5 years is high because you want those medals and you want them to connect. So that was just a window into like our conversation, and I'm glad I went to walk and run this morning, because had I not went with them this morning, I'd have never known about Saratoga and BMW. Now the Bay Bridge race, I probably would have heard about it, but I had no clue that it had been like the start of the 5 years. I'd have had no clue about that. So it's just a testimony to get out there and to put yourself in these situations, or just around people that you don't normally hang out with, and you'd be surprised as to how it kind of translates and how you can kind of weave it into your daily life, right? So now I put it in my phone, and my goal is to to do some research on their sales and marketing, so I can use it, or somehow learn the philosophy around it and stuff. So there I go, Psychology of Selling. If you are reading any books, any recommendations for whatever reason, just drop that. I would love to hear what you're reading and why you're reading what you're reading.